The Martins family had 5 children, and among all of them, Bobby Martins was the family disappointment. At 34 years old, he had never held a steady job. While Bobby wasted his life away, everyone else in the family was working hard. His father, Paul Martins, though retired, still drove his Kiki to feed the family. His mother, Mama Martins, sold akara every morning at the primary school gate. Carol, his elder sister, owned a small clothing shop. Flora, his younger sister, taught secondary school students for 35,000 naira a month, and Chigozie, the last born, was serving in Kaduna. Everybody had something they were doing with their lives. Everybody. Except Bobby. Paul Martins had tried everything. He had begged Bobby. He had scolded him. He had prayed for him. He even took him from one pastor to another. But nothing worked. The whole compound knew Bobby as the useless son. But 3 months before his 35th birthday, something changed. At a beer parlor, Bobby met 2 men, Obi and Adik, and that meeting would destroy everything. The 2 men introduced Bobby to something they called Yahoo Plus, not ordinary internet fraud, but the kind that involved sacrifices. They took him to Baba, and Baba made the price very clear. For serious money, blood had to pay. The old man spoke clearly. There would be no strangers, no enemies, only family. Each death would multiply the wealth, and nobody would suspect a thing, because they would die naturally. Bobby knew exactly what he was agreeing to,
and he agreed. Named you.
A few weeks later, the whole compound was shocked because Bobby Martins, the useless son, returned home driving a brand new black Toyota Camry. But Paul Martins wasn't celebrating. Something about the money didn't sit right with him. Return that car, or leave this house. But Paul Martins had no idea that his name was already next. 2 weeks later, Paul Martins collapsed, and before anyone reached the hospital, he was gone. But something strange happened. Bobby didn't seem surprised. The entire community gathered for Paul Martins' burial, and everyone was shocked because Bobby spent money like a billionaire. The funeral was grand, too grand. While the neighbors praised him, Mama Martins cried bitterly. This is not how we bury people in our family. This money is too much. As the months passed, Bobby became richer. New clothes, new jewelry, new friends. But Mama Martins had begun noticing strange things. Sometimes she would wake up screaming, calling Bobby's name, and asking, "What have you done?" 1 year later, Mama Martins became sick. Doctors couldn't explain it. Hospital after hospital, test after test, nothing. And every night, she called Bobby's name in her sleep. Exactly 1 year after Paul Martins died, Mama Martins died too, on the same date. By then, Bobby had moved into a mansion and was driving a Range Rover. People began to talk. Mama Ngozi from the compound spread rumors. How does one man become richer every time somebody dies? But nobody had proof, except Flora, and she was beginning to remember things. Flora remembered. Before every death, Bobby would disappear for days, then come back richer. He stopped eating food cooked at home, and strange-smelling charm bags were always hidden in his pockets. Fear entered her heart. Then tragedy struck again. Chigozie, the youngest, serving in Kaduna, went to bed one night and never woke up. No sickness, no accident, nothing, just death.
Wake up!
By now, only Carol, Flora, and Bobby remained, and Flora knew she might be next. Terrified, Flora couldn't keep the fear to herself anymore. She went to see Pastor Samuel Okonkwo, and for the first time, she told someone everything. Pastor Samuel looked at Flora and said, "This is no ordinary problem. If what you're saying is true, then this battle must be fought spiritually." He instructed her to begin a 7-day dry fast. The very first night, Flora had a terrifying dream. Bobby was chasing her, holding a sharp cutlass. The second night, the dream returned, then the third, then the fourth. Each night, it became more frightening. By the fourth day, Flora returned to Pastor Samuel. He looked at her and said, "God is showing you the battle. But don't stop praying." As the days passed, neighbors became afraid. Some avoided Flora completely. Others warned her, "Leave your brother alone." But Flora knew she couldn't run forever. On the 7th night, everything changed. When Bobby appeared again, Flora didn't run. She stood her ground. As Flora prayed, the darkness began to disappear. Bobby screamed. The cutlass fell from his hand, and the nightmare ended. When Flora woke up, she felt something she hadn't felt in years. Peace. She knew the battle was over. Exactly 7 days later,
Sir?
Bobby died. No
Sir?
sickness, no accident. He simply never woke up. After Bobby's death, everything began to fall apart. The authorities uncovered suspicious financial records. Luxury properties were seized. His fortune disappeared almost overnight. Flora stood outside the empty mansion, not celebrating, not smiling, only remembering the family she had lost. She whispered, "No amount of money is worth the people you love."